So guys, as a reminder, I'm Emily Henderson. This is our farmhouse. We've been documenting for 3 years, and today it's all about the shared kids bathroom, which is right behind me. So I have 2 kids, 7 and 9, 9-year-old boy, 7-year-old girl. And it's funny, when we started this whole process, they were 4 and 6. So it's like, you have to design. As a mom, it's really hard to not design for your current needs of your child, you know, but really, like, they grow a little bit every single day. So now they're 7 and 9 and they have different needs than they even had a couple years ago. So you really have to design with like longevity in mind. So this room is the only room in the house that I was like, I think we can just keep this the same. It's fine, it's fine, it's good enough, it's good enough. And it was cute. It was redone in the 90s and they had done a tasteful job at it. Like, it was cute tile, it was a weird vintage toilet, but it was cute. It just needed like a new coat of paint. It needed, you know, a new mirror, a new Edison cabinet, but I thought we could work with it. From my perspective, I was like, this is where we can save money. These kids have enough. They're fine. They don't need a fancy schmancy bathroom. But then Archiform came in and they were like, this is not done well. You're gonna so regret it because the rest of the house is gonna feel fresh and renovated, and then you're gonna go in there and it's gonna feel old and kind of busted. But it was one of those where I was like, do we need to? Do we? And then they showed me the electrical and the plumbing, and then there was a ton of issues. So the room that I didn't think that we were gonna ever renovate was now being renovated. So we made the decision to renovate, but I wanted to keep everything in the same location. Like, truly, we were trying to it's not like we were trying to save money, but we were trying to not spend a crazy amount on this bathroom. We had so many other fish to fry. So this bathroom, I just wanted it to be better, but I didn't want to completely like reconfigure it and spend, you know, $50,000 unnecessarily. So the layout was going to remain completely the same. Vanity, toilet, shower, and bath, none of that would move. It really was just the same footprint, but just better finishes. So I was designing this bathroom from Lake Arrowhead, where we were living during the renovation, and I was just sitting on the ground playing with 1 billion tile samples from Pratt & Larson. And I had this idea that what if we did tile on the floor and brought the floor tile up the wall to create almost a border at the bottom of the wall, which, now that I say that, it does sound a little questionable, but in my mind it was gonna work. But not every tile could have that treatment, right? It had to be a specific pattern. So Pratt & Larson has 1 billion different patterns. And we chose this picket, so green herringbone on the floor, and then it turns into a picket on the wall that's green still, and then into a white picket. In my mind, that was gonna look pretty good. And so Archiform rendered it all out, and it looked pretty good. We chose green because it was like 50 shades of blue in this house. Like, there was so much blue. And I was like, you can't just put blue tile in every single room. So I was like, oh, green. And Charlie, it's his favorite color. So we were like, okay, green tile, we're gonna do herringbone, we're gonna do picket on the walls, and then we're gonna do, I think there's a hex on the floor of the shower. Great, done. Truly checked that box and moved on. After it was installed, there was a little bit of a question on like how much you take that picket up the wall. Like, do you do it like 2 pickets worth or 1? And I got very nervous. I had total design decision fatigue. Like, truly, I didn't know what was good anymore. I had made too many decisions for too long, too fast. So I had them install it. So it's just like 1 picket along the bottom as a border. And then I was like, I think I like this. I think I like it. And then somebody walked in and they're like, oh, it looks like grass. Like, it looks like grass. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, but, and then I just kind of rebranded it in my head and then reframed it. I was like, I love grass. Do I wish that it looked like that it reminded people of grass? Like, not really, but I actually really love it now. I do, I love it now. But for a while I was very nervous because it was all I could see. All I could see was that there was a border of grass along the bottom of our kids' bathroom. But I actually think I loved how it turned out. It looked really, really good. So everything's going fine. I'm thinking about so many other rooms and I'm choosing paint colors, and when I'm choosing those paint colors, the tile is all covered with plastic, right? And so we choose paint color and just like move on. And we come back and they take down the plastic off of the tile. And what I had done, fully my fault, is I had chosen a white that made the white of the tile look yellow. It did not look green and white anymore. It looked green and light yellow, and not in like a good, like go Ducks kind of way. Like it just looked like really beige, and it was a bummer. So I had to live with that mistake for a while. I also didn't trust myself to even choose the right white again. I think what happened, I know what happened, is I had run out of steam, and the paint was the last thing I chose, and I was like, how could I go wrong? This is a really pretty white, but you can go wrong, and I did. And you might think like, oh, it's not a big deal, just repaint it, but when you're painting wood, it's a thing. You have to prep it right, you have to tape everything off, because you have to spray it, you can't roll it. Then we're painting the ceiling. It didn't take 5 days, but it took a good 2.5 days to repaint. Again, not a big deal, but when you've just finished a project and you've just spent so much money to have to then fix your own mistake and spend more money and displace your family even more, it sucked. And it made me feel really unhappy with myself, basically. But I did. We found 3 different paint colors that I thought looked really good with the tile. We did obsessively make sure that it was the right color, and I had our painters paint. And I walked into that bathroom after they painted, and it was so much prettier. Not having to be surrounded by my own mistake was wonderful. So one of my favorite moves is to find a piece of furniture and turn it into a vanity. There's a lot of vanities on the market. I don't know why I like doing this so much, but I guess it's because it just looks unique and fun, and I love vintage so much. So we had this dresser, and it was in our kids' old bedroom in the mountain house. It's like an English pine, pretty knobs, even a little keyhole. It's so cute. And this could be because I hadn't chosen a vanity or because I intentionally wanted this one. But one day I was like, let's just use this. And we measured it and we're like, well, this will fit. And it was the right vibe. Everything else in the bathroom was new. And this is an older house. It's 100 years old. So anytime I can bring in something with age, I'm going to give the room more soul. So brought in the dresser. Jamie was like, yep, I can turn it into a vanity. They had to pull out the drawers, and then they had to gut it to fit the plumbing. And the smart thing that they did, which you should do, is then build the dresser back together from the inside so that you can still use the space on the sides of the plumbing as storage. It's a hack. It's something that you could do at home if you want to take something like a dresser and turn it into a vanity. I think it's just a really unique way to make your bathroom feel more special. So next up is you have to add stone to it. Now we didn't need the backsplash, but I just love that look, right? So you have tile, and then we have the backsplash, and then the faucet. Sounds all fine and good, but the problem is the vanity itself was very shallow. I kind of knew it, but I was like, it'll be fine. And it was fine until we added that 2-centimeter stone against the tile wall, because what happened is the original faucet stuck out so far. Technically the water went into the sink, but only barely. And it looked ridiculous. It looked so dumb. And again, that was one of those things where, because we didn't have the exact, well, we did have the exact dimensions of the vanity, but we didn't put them into the drawings. We just put a vanity into the drawings. We didn't catch that the faucet was basically gonna go past the vanity. So that's fine. We had to switch out the faucets, and this one I actually love way more. For the plumbing, I knew I wanted a brass, a brushed brass. I love green and gold together. That color combination is one of my favorites. We worked with Rejuvenation, and the cross handles on both the sink faucet and the bath faucet are so sweet. It's like old world, but in a really modern way. So I like to mix squares and circles throughout a space, and the vanity was a square. So I chose a circle mirror to go above it. And I always get really nervous drilling into tile. I was nervous about the mirror, and I had played with maybe 10 different options, but I really liked how graphic and round this one is, and how modern it is above the more vintage, antique vanity. So once we put it up, I was like, I think it's right. They drilled, and then I was like, oh, yeah, that looks good. That's good. For the lighting, there's no cans or recessed lighting in here. So there is a sconce over the vanity, and there's the overhead semi-flush mount, and they both have this vintage vibe. They're both from Rejuvenation, and I even like how the sconce has this like little, you can't really turn it on and off like from the sconce. Well, you can, but you don't really need to. But it's like those little details that just make it look more authentic and more antique. And then we worked with Rejuvenation's antique and vintage department to basically design and construct this light fixture over the bathtub. And it ended up looking really, really beautiful over the bathtub. So like I said, the original bathroom, same footprint, same layout, bathtubs in the same spot. But then I had this idea. I was like, what if we just like build it in a little bit to make it a little nook? And that way we could put curtains. So we built in this nook, and then it became, well, I love fabric so much. Like fabric is probably my favorite design element, I would say, just because it's so non-committal, and there's so many different patterns, so many different colors, so you can really play like forever with different colors and patterns. So we did, and I went to the fabric store, and I've been collecting vintage fabric forever, and I came back with 9 options of fabric. And all of them were pretty good. Truly, like they all had different vibes, but we hung one up after another, and Gretchen and I were both like, that's pretty good too. Oh, that's pretty good too. We ended up choosing this large scale buffalo check it's like a dark teal and white. It just felt very like modern Scandinavian, but whimsical and playful. I think something has happened where we think that big showers and all glass bathrooms are the way to go, and I think that there's a time and place for that for sure. It's definitely like in a more contemporary modern house, that's fine. But in a vintage house, I love a shower room where you step in, you close the door, and you're surrounded by tile, and it feels so private and so cozy. We have it in our bathroom and up here, and I will never regret it. It's definitely my preference is a shower room. So for this shower room, we did a whole jam with the stone from the vanity to kind of call back to the vanity. And then when you get inside there is a ledge instead of a niche. Now that's a big old controversy online. Do you choose a ledge or a niche? I like a ledge, guys. If you're renovating, I like a ledge because you can put your toe up there to shave your legs, you can lean against it, and it gives you just more space to put all your product. At the same time, it just looks a little bit cleaner. One of the details I really like in this shower that was not expensive is adding the gold trim around the door. It definitely helped it make it look a little bit more vintage and just a little bit more special and less like contractor grade ready-made. So we put up the fabric, and then we're like, oh, all of the accessories that I had planned that were just vintage, I had them around the house anyway, no longer worked. The fabric took it in this whole different direction, and all of a sudden, I needed to hang my Irish setter on the window. I needed to hang a basket, a purse full of plants on the hook. Like, it just took it in this really whimsical, fun direction that who knows, maybe in 2 years I'll be like, okay, let's change up the art. But it's just, the styling moments are making me so happy in this space. It feels whimsical, playful, and very me, but also the kids are responding really well to it too, because it's full of color and like all these kind of silly elements that are really fun. Good news, y'all. This bathroom came together, especially near the end. It's like I love everything together so much that even the grass motif and the go duckness of it all, I love it. It actually looks just really curated and intentional, and sometimes that's the power of styling. You can be really myopic during a renovation, and you can just stare at certain details, overanalyze them, question yourself a billion times, but also just let it play out. It can, with styling, always come together. Thank you guys guys so much for watching. If you're into these longer form vlog videos about the renovation, hit like and subscribe. Tell your friends maybe. And if you want any of the resources or see any of the beautiful photography, it's all on the blog, so head over there. Thank you very much for watching. Bye guys.